What's up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today we're going to check out Mareia. Mareia is actually the newest hero in Idle Heroes, and I'm not talking about the Transcendence version, we don't have that yet, but I'm actually curious about the normal hero. It's not something that I usually do. Usually I just don't care about normal heroes, because like, what does it matter to me whether or not the hero, let's say Mockman for example, says that he does 800% damage or whatever. It is no longer important, because we are at a point where basically Divine Power was such a huge power creep that it made all normal heroes obsolete in all situations other than the very early game of Idle Heroes. And we're not really showing very early game of Idle Heroes here on the channel, thus we're never really showing normal heroes aside from a few situations where, well, we kind of have an S tier here or something, which can still be interesting, but is also limited. Mareia is kind of different in this situation because she has interesting skills, actually. One part here in her active skill, for example, says with a 50% chance to extend all control effects on them by 1 round. So allowing you to extend control effects on enemies, making it way easier for them to stick around. Or the last part, a passive skill that allows her to potentially CC the entire enemy team at the end of each round. So pretty cool, because that doesn't require you to have energy or anything. It's just like full CC of the enemy team potentially. So that is something we're definitely going to check out. I am planning to do this in Realmsgate. Now I kind of have to say, of course, even though I say, well, Mareia is a normal hero and normal heroes aren't really good. Okay, falling back to the German there. We're kind of supercharging this normal hero, of course, because it is on my account. She will CC a ton more because of we have stuff like the Star Spawn for CI offset with a pretty high roll. We do have, there's another one by the way, a decent roll as well. And then of course if we go into Realmsgate we will also have buffs from Treasure Train, which are also quite massive and will not be there when you do this on like an early game account or something. So this is kind of a big difference. For that point we will have all of those buffs here, including a ton of skill damage. This includes control precision. I think it will also include CI offset. It doesn't? Okay, interesting. somehow there is apparently no CI offset treasure for Realmsgate. Very interesting. Okay, but nonetheless, 75% all damage reduction, so that is kind of insane enough. Will be a little bit of a supercharged Mareia for that, but still interesting. Starting off, we kind of have to build her, because I didn't do that yet. And the first step, I wanted to show that to you guys, because it is something that some of you guys might not know. I usually use a trick to save a little bit on the dust for the stone. And I don't know if you guys are aware of it. If you are kind of like a low spender, mid spender, this might still be interesting for you, because if you have an Awaken that you can actually sell in the auction house on Mareia, this will allow you to basically get one roll you desire on Mareia without like having to re-roll the stone. So that is what we're going to do. If you know that already, maybe skip 30 seconds ahead or just continue watching. So is even better. So we'll start off with the free Awaken. We have a few copies. Then we'll probably use a stone. We need C- or higher. We can't sell D- in the auction house, so this copy sadly wasn't it, meaning we have to take the next one, but that is no problem either, because we do have Awakening items. Would be kind of funny. That would be absolutely hype if I just went ahead and used the SSS stone on her now. But no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I have a B-tier stone though, which is pretty cool, and I think that's also something rather nice. So let's use a B-tier stone. Let's see what we can get. Oh, by the way, I want to check out how high our chances. 7% for B+, and then we got like, what is that, about a 1% chance for A- or above. So probably going to roll S tier. Let's see. Let's go. Come on. I want to see some orange or red at least. Come on. Okay, green. Triple green, B+. B tier. Okay. I mean, we take it. Skill damage block, not too bad. Is good enough for us. And what you want to do then is we want to basically level up the hero a little bit. You will get this material back, so that is no problem. And this is just so that we unlock the stone. And the thing that you want to do is you want to upgrade. And then you just quick upgrade to whatever tier you want to have in the end. And once you did that, like that, now we got speed crit, isn't really the stone that we want. We go ahead and we take our Mareia copy. We go into the auction house. We go into hero listing. And we just list this copy on the auction house. Don't have to do anything. It says the current listed heroes cultivated. All materials and soul power cultivated will be returned once the hero is listed. Unfilled and exceeded merchant progress will be cleared. Confirm listing. Confirm. And we get all of our dust back. So that means we can unlist her again. And that won't actually give her a countdown or anything that would stop us from doing this exact process again. And that is something you can just do until you get the stone that you want. And this is something that has probably saved me millions on millions on dust. And dust is a resource. I mean, I have 5.5 million now. This can quickly be gone. Holy damage, skill damage, actually the best damage stone in the game. I would keep something like that. Usually I want a speed stone and I want holy damage, skill damage, so that's something that I would go for. Wait a second. What was the requirement? 6-star hero. I didn't even know that had a requirement. Okay, I'm going to build her and then we're going to the testing. Okay, and we're done. So, what do we have now? We have basically the B tier here. As before, I didn't put soul power on her yet. I don't think we can put like a whole lot. We could put like a little bit. Would give us higher stats, but we probably are not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage anyway. So it doesn't really matter. More interesting for us, the skills. And we do have V4 on her, so I put that. And the V4 skills look like this. 800% damage to all enemies 3 times. Pretty good. 2000% damage to targets with Azure Wraith rule, a skill effect. And besides, there is an 80% chance to inflict Azure Wraith rule on targets with control effects for 3 rounds, with an 80% chance to extend all control effects on them by 1 round. So, what is the ideal situation? The ideal situation for you to use your active skill is when all enemies are CC'd. So, essentially, that kind of requires you to have a second hero that does CC. If that is a TBB, that is possible. For me personally, the situation in which I thought this would be very interesting, I thought back like, okay, what was like in the pre-Transcendence hero time, who would you have used? And I kind of ended up with Crows. Cruz? Something like that. He doesn't... What the hell are those legs? Never noticed that before. What the hell are those legs? Doesn't matter. But the thing is, when he drops below 50% HP, has an 5% chance to stun all enemies for 2 rounds. Obviously, nowadays, there are different options. And the number 1 option would be TBB. You just go TBB with her, you do the Ifig Dragon Rui, and then you basically have full CC. Is this something that is interesting for us in terms of like clearing content? It is not uninteresting. The thing is, if you go for something like Void Vortex, that's not that bad. It's not that bad to be able to inflict like this 60% attack reduction on all enemies, because that is what it is. Azure Wraith rule reduces the owner's attack by 60%. Can't be purified because it's a skill effect. Expires after owner releases basic attacks or active skills 2 times in total. Which sounds like the initial idea was to not make it expire, but the thing is we can kind of consistently CC through the whole time. So unlikely to end. We then have this last ability. At the end of each round, for every 1 target with the Azure Wraith rule on battlefield, self gains 7 energy. You can have 6 targets, unless our own ones count, which we're not going to find out properly. But would be interesting. So 6 times 7. Oh, I hate that I said that. I hate that I said that, guys. It doesn't matter. It's 42. So you have a very decent energy feed on her as well. So on top of that, you may only need like a few mirrors or something to get a full consistent energy feed. Do you really want that? The basic attack's not too bad either. It attacks 3 times, each attack hitting 3 enemies, and if you hit an enemy 2 times, you inflict a Azure Wraith rule on the target. Which isn't too bad. That is actually pretty decent. So in best case scenario, you do your basic skill and you inflict a Azure Wraith rule on 3 enemies. That is not a bad scenario at all. You also have a pretty high chance to CC with 80% over here. So that works out for in favor as well. Skills, we have damage reduction, which is worth a whole lot at the beginning. We have speed for a very nice extra bonus for like a CC hero. There are basically 2 kinds of scenarios that you want to use. So let's imagine a turn 1, for example. If we go into turn 1 and we go ahead and we do our active skill, and we just do the active skill, that is boring. That is not worth it. That is not what we really want to do. And what we want to do is we essentially want to only do the active skill in case that we have a secondary CC hero that can inflict CC on all the enemies before we do our active skill. If we have that, then this active skill becomes really good, because then we get to quickly inflict a ton of Azure Wave rule on the enemies, get our energy feed up, get our CC up, and have this 80% chance to freeze all the enemies all the time at the end of each round. Very, very good. That would be optimal. The other scenario that we have is we don't have that. We want to use her maybe as a single carry. In which situation she will probably not be that great. Because in that scenario we have to do a basic attack at the start, just to get the first Azure Wave rule out. And also because this actually doesn't include any CC. So if we want to CC, we have to basic. That basic then has a chance to get up to 3 enemies CC'd. Is that actually the case? Inflicts a Azure Wave on targets that have been attacked 2 or more times in total for 4 rounds, which is good. 80% chance to freeze them. So yeah, we can CC up to 3 targets with our basic attack, because that is the maximum number of Azure Wave rule we can inflict on the enemies. And CC half the team. Not too bad, actually. Kind of decent. Would be better to CC the whole team. We are just going to try this in Gate of the Void now. We are at Void Corruption 180. This might be too much. I'll have to be honest, this might be too much. Because that is 20 Divine Power. 20 Divine Power, interesting enough, means she can't deal damage. She will absolutely be unable to deal damage to those enemies. And I still want to clear it. So the way we're going to do this, I really want to go and put her into the team. Having 2 of her would actually stack up. It would actually not be bad. It's one of those scenarios where we kind of really could go away with 2. I still want to get Cruz in there. I don't know if that is going to work, because he's going to take so much more damage from them. It might be the case that yeah, they just one-shot him. Then I want to get TBB in there, but not big TBB. I want to get my small TBB in there. Yeah, I have 2 of those. Could go Starving Jar on top of that. I want to get my HHA in there. HHA. So there we go. Maybe we can like, do we do TBB core? Yeah, we have to get a little bit of extra CC. So I tried to do that with TBB. If we can full CC, that might work out. And then we basically have 2 more slots, and I don't really know what to do with those. But maybe we can just stack up Delasium. Where are my Delasiums? There and there. And we just try to clear with that, I think. We can take the Ice Monster on top of that. Which is interesting, by the way, because this is freeze. They would actually work together. So like in the base version, there's I think a 120% damage boost against frozen targets. You could use that. You could use Apparition. Yeah, so not sure if this is going to work. Maybe do we have to do that? Swap the Cruise over there to the HHA here. Yeah, I guess that's our best chance. Let's slow that down. We did get the CC. My CR set should make it sure we get the full CC. Full CC is out. Stun, okay. Active skill going out. And we seem to have gotten basically 5 heroes there. You see this little twirl around them? It actually has an animation. So we basically seem to have gotten 5 heroes with our first initial active skill, which is great. There we have the basic. We still haven't CC'd this one Garuda over there, which partly is because we don't really have a full energy feed. We should have gotten with a bit of heal here, because that seems to be something we are struggling with right now, because enemy team has, where is it? Yeah, a G-Star. And we do 0 of course with the normal heroes. Full CC still active. We don't have Balance Strike there. I think the HHA will be able to clear it as long as we survive maybe like 1 more round. Let's see. Okay, we got our first death here. The Cruise should heal us for a ton, actually. Isn't that part of his active skill? Yes, actually a pretty big heal. Or was it in the basic? I don't quite remember. Okay, TBB still alive. Getting the kills now. Monster actually CCing as well. I can speed this up a little bit. And in the end we had very little CC there. So that was a bit of a problem. I don't think we would have needed the Delasiums necessarily. I don't think we would have needed them. We can try one more time here. Maybe try something else. So this worked out fairly well. We got pretty decent CC with her too. It got overwritten though by the boss, by the monster, which I don't really like, so I want to swap that out. And maybe we can try something else. Maybe try some other heroes here. We can get an Ignis involved there to kind of bring us a little bit of heal into the team. But I think it's kind of interesting because yeah, we did most of the damage now with TBB, and because well the enemy team kind of had the G-Star there, it was a bit of a problem, obviously. Ooh, we can take in Holmesiang as well. Do we need the cruise then? Do double Holmesiang. Just go with that. I'm kind of intrigued to do that. I don't know. We have other options. Doesn't really have synergy with Flame Strike, sadly. Why do I have an A- battle? Okay, we find out about stuff here. Let's see. Okay, starting off, TBB CC worked out well. We get the full CC. A bit of stun there. And how many do we get? I think that's nearly everybody. I think... No, two... This one doesn't have it. And the bottom one doesn't have it. But the CC timing is so weird. The CC timing was so weird. The CC timing was after the trigger of TBB. That was really strange. Okay? Ah, the shield is actually really good. The shield is actually really good. Will help us a ton. I want to see the next active skill. Next active skill going in. But we still don't have the Flora Bell down there. I don't understand how they can get away all the time. It takes so much damage. I mean, now we do the basic. Now we got her with a basic. Ignis, heal please. Holmesiang actually doving all the enemies. I don't think that will help us against the poison because... Oh wait, it's removed now. So that is good. Holmesiang actually doing his job and keeping us from keeping the damage away. I kind of think even... I mean, we do need some divine power. Because those 4 heroes are actually not doing any damage. I wonder how that works with monsters. I've never thought about that. Because like for a normal hero, the problem at like Realm's Gate 180 is that the difference in the divine power that they have to the enemies is so big that their damage that they do against them actually becomes 0. So they do 0 damage against enemies with 20 divine power, and that's why we always seen like this one that appears there. And I've never really thought about how that works for monsters, because they don't really have a divine power value either. That is something that is very interesting. I have to look into that. But we're slowly chipping them down. Actually pretty solid there. Do we get the CC on the Flora Bell? Want to see that? Actually don't. Now we have CC there. I don't know. Where does this freeze come from? I mean, it has to come from her. But that really wasn't the end of the round. This is bugged. Maybe I missed something. Usually when I say that, somebody then later comes around and says, Wraec, you missed that. You didn't see that she actually has this effect. Probably something like this. But it has me confused a little bit. But we do have pretty consistent CC overall. We have those, we have like the Twine, we have Freeze on top of that. So it does work out pretty well with the buffs that I have. And yeah, okay. Gonna have to speed this up. Because our only damage is from HHA and TBB, and that is only like the small TBB, so okay, we can probably skip to the end here. Victory, that is the highest difficulty that we have in there. That is the highest difficulty that we have of Realm's Gate at the moment. That is Realm's Gate 180. Probably still the easiest. Can we beat that? I mean, there are probably some that we can't beat. We can try just a skip battle to see if we can beat the scenarios. And with big damage, we will see who did it. Victory. Okay. I mean, that was to be expected that we get some damage here, but we didn't have any casualties on our side. So fairly good clear. Let's go to the next stage. Let's get like this chest over here. We go through the portal. And I mean we can't kill the puppets with that. Okay. And now if the ticks dies, that's a problem. We have to really CC the Eloise. We're probably going to die to the Eloise. Unless, I mean, if you get the twine, it's fine. I just want to see like one round. She shouldn't counter now. Didn't get the energy this time. But this actually hit 4 here. How did that work? Because we got 4 heroes from basic. But if the basic... we have to read again. But the basic hits 3 enemies. 3 times. And you have to be hit twice to be CC'd. So I hit 3 enemies. Twice, and then I have 3 more hits that can't CC. Or is there a spread that actually allows you to do that? Shouldn't be, right? Or am I dumb? Is it possible to do 4? Now I'm confused. Now I'm confused. Victory, easy. Okay, I thought about it again. Yeah, it's possible. You can do 4. 4 is possible. 5 isn't. Which makes sense. Because it's 9 hits. Divided by 2, it's 4.5. Yeah. Yeah. I'm stupid. Okay. Should have seen that one. But we test so that we see stuff. Can we clear that? Wait a second. I haven't looked at the heroes. This will be a problem. But I want to see it. And then I want to do a dark stage. And that probably is the end. Ooh, we didn't get the CC this time. Ah, yeah, that's not good. Not getting the CC is not good. Got doved. But his sickness set is doved. It's not too bad. CC counter from Sherlock through the twine back from our TBB. So that's why we couldn't get the CC on turn 1. Consistency is the thing. I mean, to get Realmsgate, to get like the high unlocks, you want to have consistent CC. That's not very easy if you go for such a strategy, because as you saw right now, we have a very minor hiccup in that, which is going to happen 50% of the time, and suddenly we are in the world of pain here. But we are out of this first problem zone. I'm not sure. I hope we can kill the Homxiang. Because we can kill the rest. The rest is easy now. So I can just basically skip ahead a little bit. The Homxiang is just going to survive. Okay, the good thing though is this shouldn't have a 15 round limit. So no matter what, even if we don't have the damage, considering this guy can't attack and is constantly CC'd, is constantly stunned, is constantly frozen, yeah, he won't be able to actually do damage to us, which means the fact that we are damaging him is enough to beat him. Is kind of funny though, because even in that situation our heroes don't deal damage. That was actually pretty cool clear overall. Because the thing was, we got CC thrown at us, but we're still able to CC because she doesn't actually care about being twined, because it's just a passive skill that needs to trigger. Once you have like your Azure Wave stuff out, it's actually fine. I think we're just going to skip battle. Yeah. Nice. So, basically don't need heroes. Then we have that. And let's see if we have a dark stage on the next one. Because usually those are the tough ones, the dark stages. There we go. There, of course, we have Carrie. And we have Drake. 1 Drake hit and we have dead heroes. That much I can promise you. If we don't get the CC with TBB, we have dead heroes. Okay. We have dead heroes. Because this guy will just get nuked at the end of the round. He's just going to vanish. Pretty sure about this. Be very surprised if he survives. Oh, he did! Okay, crazy. Usually they get absolutely nuked, but maybe it's because he didn't get hit again. Because Black Hole Mark is basically saves up damage. I mean, we are of course running right now with Rui. I wanted to do Rui. That is not the end of the round. Or is it? It's kind of more of the big... I have to check this later in the footage. It looked to me like more of the beginning of the round, not the end. I mean, the carry is going to revive. And potentially is going to be fast enough to actually hit us. Which is going to be mark damage. It's not going to be very fun if we get hit with that. I would say we could clear out the rest of the enemies quickly enough, but not going to be a thing. The question, of course, that we haven't asked in this video, and that is definitely in the room, is if that is the base version, what's the Transcendence version going to be? Because we have probably one of the best CC heroes that we have not in the game right now, or is it? I mean, if she was a Transcendence hero with her power level, just like change the Forest tech to be Transcendence, and had access to Divine Power by that, and a core that does nothing, I would say that isn't too bad. That is probably, at that point, better than Starwing Shower. Is that sad? Is that sad? That is mechanically better than Starwing Shower. Because Starwing Shower had her best times are already gone. Because she was good because she was able to CC enemies and get like control break and CI offset. And you don't need that anymore. So a hero that arguably has better CC but just not having to attack by having turn 0 CC like TBB is essentially better. So that is just going to be the thing. And I think that is kind of insane. I wonder what they're going to do for the Transcendence version, because there is some interesting stuff here. I wouldn't give this last part super big value. It is interesting, but most CC is lost currently due to enemies purifying it. So extending CC, well, it does help. It at least doesn't allow the enemy to lose a CC just because the time ran out. As long as you have like full energy feed, which we didn't. We didn't consistently do that. We should have put a little bit more mirrors and stuff on the team, but it worked out either way. The basic was better than I thought. Pretty nice. Control effect, immunity debuff there. Could in theory be spread with DGN. Which I didn't want to say she's like an endgame meta hero or anything like that. You go with TBB, you build a big TBB, and then you use other heroes for CC, and you have enough CC usually in DT and all of the other effects that we currently have in the game, like treasures. Even if you go with like HHA, you get stun now. So there is enough CC in the game already that we don't need something like Mareia, or something like Mareia doesn't have a spot on the team usually. I guess in most scenarios where we are going for like a new Void Vortex clear where you could use Mareia, I doubt that she's going to see use there, even though she could. But then again, I mean, we go for super long CC. I used Starving Jar last time, because you can use Starving Jar actually in Void Vortex. I don't know, maybe she could. Holmes Young is more interesting though. So, pretty good hero. I kind of see a TBB coming, like a Forest TBB somehow for her Transcendence version. And I wonder if that's going to be true. But it is interesting. They made a pretty good design, a pretty clear design direction that we rarely see on other heroes. They are mostly a bit mixed, a bit boring, a bit bland. Don't really have an idea, just do some damage, which is not enough to outscale Eloise. She does a bit more. So that has me curious. That has me curious for that, because Forest, they don't really get too many good Transcendence heroes. I mean, Sylvie is decent. Doesn't see a lot of use. I looked in the auction house. The copies are well down. You can get them for very cheap. LBRM is a good hero. Like PD level for CC removal. Sees way more play in PvP just because of the Nova Star Soul. G-Star saw no play at all. MFF is nerfed to death essentially. And then we have Ferric Investa, who's also gone. So aren't really too many heroes from this faction in play right now. And I wonder if the age is pushing to make her like the best Forest Transcendence hero that is going to be in the game fairly soon. And we're going to test it obviously on this channel, which I would definitely recommend you subscribe to. Hit that subscribe button down below. There is also still the 100,000 Starry Gem giveaway that you can join by joining SG Hub. There should be something in the description like cheapest Starry Gems that you can buy or something like that, with a Discord link behind That Discord link will link you to SG Hub. If you are on the Wraec Discord, that is the wrong server for the giveaway. You need to get to SG Hub, and then in the SG giveaway channel you can find a button called Participate, and if you participate there, you have a chance to win 20k Starry Gems, 5 winners, so in total 100k Starry Gems. Absolutely insane. And also while you are there, you can check out the Starry Gem prizes, because Starry Gems on SG Hub are the cheapest Starry Gems that you can buy, and also way better value than in-game. It's the number one trusted source for Starry Gems that I can guarantee you will never be scammed, because I'm also involved there, and I'm certainly not going to scam you. You can trust me on that. So that is definitely, yeah, one of the best source for Starry Gems that we have at the moment. Other than that, I will do a live stream tomorrow. We'll do a live stream, and we are going to actually do the event, Ocean Current Adventure. Somehow crashes my emulator at the moment a little bit. I had this problem with Google Play Beta. On BlueStacks it seems to work. Smaller event completion, but will still be fun. Stay tuned for that. There will be an announcement on the channel and on the Discord very, very soon. Other than that, I just wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.